Hake has got to be one of my favourite fish. It's plentiful, it's easy to cook, and it's not a strong tasting fish. So this is what the full hake looks like. It's a round fish. So that means there's 2 fillets. This is the whole fish that we're looking at. We got this delivered fresh this morning from Albatross and Killybegs, so my thanks to John and the team there. But it's a very sustainable fish, and in Spain they absolutely adore it, and it's plentiful in Ireland. So my advice to you all is to try this recipe. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fish. So this is the fillet here. I have a pin boned. I'm going to show you a lovely little crust. I'll just move that out of the way. And with hake, it's good value. It's not an expensive fish, so it's full of flavour. So we'll make up a little crust. We're going to melt some butter. It's very, very simple. I already have one of these hake fillets in the oven because it takes about 20 minutes to do this. So some butter. We're going to chop some walnuts. So these are just the walnut pieces here. So they give great texture. So it's going to kind of be like a herb and nut crusted hake fillet, so it is. So I'm just going to get a few of these. Now obviously if you have a nut allergy you can leave it out, so you can. Now this recipe will work really well with haddock also, but this is just beautiful. I'll show you now my 2 fillets that came in here. So it's always a very popular fish when we have it on our menu, and people like it because it's a soft fish, pin bones, so it means there's no bones in it, and your fishmonger will do that for you. So chop this, and if you want to get the nuts a little bit smaller, just hold the knife and kind of rock it over and back. Now you can use pecan nuts, hazelnuts, pine nuts, whatever kind of nuts you like. I think walnut nuts are a lovely nut to use in this recipe. We're going to use some breadcrumbs, and these are the ciabatta breadcrumbs that I'm using here. So they're from an Irish producer called Mr. Crumb. So that's in the bowl there. So I'm going to put the nuts in there. So just mix this all together in a moment. But we're going to put in some lovely fresh herbs. So parsley is a lovely delicate herb. You could use basil, but I'm using this lovely kind of flat leaf parsley. So we're going to chop this, and I'm going to show you the technique of chopping. So I'm just melting the butter. We're going to grate a little bit of lime zest into the butter. I'll just turn that down. And then we're going to put an interesting spice into the butter, is a little bit of nutmeg, which works really well. So the zester here, you can sit it on the pot if you want to, as long as the pot doesn't move. So the butter is just melting. That's roughly about a tablespoon or a little bit less of butter. I'm going to keep the lime because I'm going to use that in a moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chop, I'll switch off the butter, our parsley. So curve your fingers, chop this. So these crumbs can be made ahead. They'll keep in the fridge, or you can freeze them. So chop this, rock it over and back, and then this will go into the bowl, and that's my flat leaf parsley. Simple as that. So just to recap, we have the ciabatta breadcrumbs, or you can use some wheaten bread if you wanted to. This is the nutmeg, and we're going to put roughly about, say about a very large pinch just goes in there, because you don't want to overpower it either. I mean, for me, the star of the show should be the hake. You should be able to taste that. So just mix in the butter. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is just get my tray. I want to show you what I've done here. Not my tray, my dish, an oven-proof dish. So you can do it on a tray, but we've lined it with parchment paper. And I'm just going to get 3 little slices of lime, just like that. Okay, so that's that done there. Then with this here, we're going to juice the lime into the butter, so we're wasting nothing. Now if you don't like lime, you can use lemon, of course. So mix this all together. So we have the herbs in there, the lime. Mix this all together, and then this is going to go into the butter. So you're just going to mix that. Just get a spoon. The nuts give great texture. The lime adds lovely freshness. And then I think with the bread, the ciabatta breadcrumbs, which is like an Italian bread enriched with olive oil, which works really well. So just mix this all together. So that's them there. That's our crumbs mixed. Just mix them nicely through. So you can see a little bit of parsley, a little bit of texture there. I've obviously done a little bit too much, so you can keep it in the fridge or you can freeze it. The only thing is, if you put it into the fridge, it's going to set because the butter will set. But just literally bring it to room temperature or pop it into the microwave for 10-15 seconds. Okay, so mayonnaise, just some regular mayonnaise, and we're going to put in some of this lovely fresh basil pesto. Okay, so this is it here. So it's the fresh one. You just get it in the supermarket. Just a couple of spoonfuls of that. And then we're going to mix this all together. Now, so that's our mayonnaise done there. Okay, so that's it all ready. Now, next thing we're going to do I'm going to talk to you just about the parchment paper. So parchment paper is a non-stick silicone paper. Nothing will stick to it. A really good tip for you. The cherry tomatoes, when they're cooked, the fish is cooked. So I already have one in here and I'll show you that in a moment. So what I'm going to do now is just literally get my fish. So this is the hake fillets. 2 little portions here, okay, so that would be probably from one of the fillets that I showed you. You get 2 or 3 portions out of that. Again, your fishmonger will do this. So I'm keeping the skin on because I think it holds it all together, and it's a lovely kind of soft, the scales are removed, it's a lovely soft skin. We're going to smear the mayonnaise all over like this, just with the back of the spoon. You can use a pastry brush, but I'm just trying to save on the wash up. Okay, so that's that there. I'm just going to do one. I'm going to move this out of the way. And then we're going to just, with our bowl of breadcrumbs, we're just going to gently just sprinkle this on top here and press that down here. So just right to the edge. You can see like it's a lovely, soft, delicate fish. The flesh of it is. It's not strong. The twins love this, so they do. And it's so versatile. You can do it with so many different recipes. Even in a curry, you can bake it off, you can pan fry it. So that's that done there. Now I'm just going to wash my hands. Really important after touching fish. And then we're going to season it up and then just pop it into the oven. So we already have one into the oven because that will take probably about 20 minutes. It's a nice thick piece of hake. So I'll show you the one now in a moment. So if you look at the tomatoes, we're going to drizzle a little bit of rapeseed oil. We're going to put some nice Irish sea salt over the tomatoes. And if you were to do this, say for a dinner party, you're having guests around, you could have all this ready to go in the fridge. And my advice to you is to take it out 20 minutes before you bake it off, so it relaxes the fish, so it does. So you can bake it, yeah, obviously from raw, so you can, into the oven, 180. So I'm just going to pop this in now. And with the lime underneath, it gives lovely flavour, so that's really important. And then of course you put the zest in the breadcrumbs. So this one is in here for about 20 minutes. You can set a timer. This is it here, and I want to show you, really important, how you test when fish is cooked. So you go into the centre. I know that's soft, it's going through. And if you look at the side here, it's just beautifully cooked. It's flaking away. So there are the tomatoes. They've kept their shape, but they're just cooked. So very, very quickly, I'm going to show you just a quick little recipe to serve with this. It's kind of like potatoes, red onion, smoked bacon. We're using some nice quality assured smoked bacon for this. So a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter. So I have 2 streaky rashers, half a red onion. That's going to go into the pan. So we're just going to mix this all together. And we're just going to let this cook just for a minute. I'm going to use a spatula here. So this on its own is lovely with salad or maybe a baked potato, you know, but I think this is a lovely way. So say if you've leftover baby potatoes here. So I just cooked these earlier on. They're not completely cold and they're not warm either. So I'm just going to literally pop them into the pan in a moment. So we'll just give this a little shake. Keep it on a high heat. Did you notice the way I put the rapeseed oil in the butter? Because the rapeseed oil will stop the butter from burning. So that's good there. So you want to get a little bit of colour, but smoky bacon, potatoes, it works beautiful with this recipe. So next I'm going to put in the potatoes. And then we'll just chop some parsley. So it's just a lovely way of cooking potatoes. I'm using the little baby potatoes. Give it a little shake. And just let that cook away there on a high heat. Okay, a little bit of parsley. And this is going to go in. Again, I'm using parsley for this. So with the fish, it's just resting. So that means you can serve it straight away, but I'm just letting it relax. Just when I'm warming through the potatoes. We're going to chop this now. And that's basically the recipe done. Watch the fingers when you're doing this. So chop it again, a little bit finer. Doesn't have to be too fine. Give this a little mix. Gorgeous. Now if you want to get the bacon crispy, you obviously need to cook it a little bit longer, but there's no need for that. You want to just make sure that it's cooked through. So I think another little bit of really nice Irish butter, you can never go wrong. So that there on its own is delicious. You know, if you want to pan fry the hake, serve it with that. It's delicious, it really is. We're going to serve this up. So we'll get our little fish slice. This is probably the easiest to lift with this, and because we used we used the parchment paper, it should just come off very easily. So just be really careful, it is hot. Okay, just move it around here to the side. Now, and then just get the paper and just slide it off. Perfect. So there we have it there. You can see that lovely moist, that lovely texture from the walnuts there. So that's going to go there. Very carefully arrange that. Them are tomatoes, and these are a lovely little garnish. So that goes on to the side. So you can see that there with a salad is just delicious. But I think with these potatoes, they really work well. So I'm just going to use a spoon for this. Just carefully lift the potatoes out. So these are the baby potatoes with some red onion. You could have put garlic in there, but I think with the red onion and that lovely, beautiful Irish bacon, it works so well. So you kind of have a surf and turf there. You have your lovely fillet of hake with your bacon. And there we go. Quick, delicious, easy to make. As I say, hake is plentiful. Give this recipe a go, because I think it's one that definitely all the family will enjoy. And that's my herb and nut crusted fillet of hake with the roasted tomatoes and that lovely potato, red onion and smoked bacon. So happy cooking, and I hope you enjoy and try this recipe. Thanks a million.